Today on r/PettyRevenge. Selling on Facebook, lowballed, accepted their offer, and had them meet me at the local pub. When I list something on Facebook Marketplace, I do it with the intention of selling it basically right away. What does this mean? It means my price is low. Sometimes too low. And firm. I don't budge on price, but that has never mattered. They always buy it at full price anyway. I absolutely hate getting 50 "Is it still available" messages. When I get one of those, I just delete and ignore. A few days ago, I was selling a set of new takeoff tires wheels. Manufacturer's suggested retail price was in the $2,500 range. Used prices were in the $1,500 to $2,000 range. I listed these at $1,000. Within an hour, I had probably 20 messages about them. My response is always the same: the price is the price. I will not hold them. First come, first serve. One of the guys who messaged me offered $250. These are a slow sell at $2,000, but a near instant sell at $1,000. There is no world where $250 was an appropriate offer. So I told him that. My word for word, punctuation for punctuation response to his offer was, no. But that didn't stop him. He justified his offer by sending several listings showing other tires, etc. tires. So I blocked him and moved on. Fast forward 10 minutes, and I get another message from a different Facebook account with the same offer. This guy was now using a second Facebook account. So I blocked this second account. And then he did it with a third account. I was done at this point. Clearly I couldn't win by just blocking and moving on. This guy was relentless. His strategy was to literally annoy the living crap out of you until you just said yes. And blocking his accounts wouldn't work. Who knows how many accounts this guy had. And so I did what any other sane person would do, and accepted his $250 offer. I told him I would take his $250 offer, but that he would have to meet me later that night, as I was currently busy. He said that he was about a 2-hour drive from me and asked to meet halfway. I said no. He was eager to make a quick buck off of me, so agreed to drive to me. There is a street in our town that has a few pubs on it. 3 of these pubs are within about a half-mile of each other, kind of set up so you park on the street and walk between them. And these pubs are usually busy by 11 p.m. By busy I mean there is zero parking anywhere. You usually have to park at least a half-mile away and walk to the pub. And so I did what any sane person would do and set the meet for 11 p.m. at one of these local pubs. I sent him a message at around 10:45 p.m. and asked him to meet me in the pub, and we could walk over to my truck and grab the wheels tires. He messages me at 11 p.m. and told me he was out front. There is no way to park out front without blocking the entire street, and traffic is usually heavy at 11 p.m. Meaning he couldn't just wait out front, he would have to move. So again, I did what any sane person would do, and waited until about 10 minutes after 11 p.m. to message back. In that 10 minutes, I received no less than 20 messages from him. These messages painted an amazing picture, as he grew more and more frustrated, as he sent screenshots of his location, asking if he was in the right place, as he kept telling me he would drive down the block and circle back. You get the point. 10 minutes later, I sent a simple, "Sorry about that. Didn't see your message. I'm at the bar in XYZ pub. Just park and come in. I'll grab you a beer." He accepted the offer, parked what I assume was 1/2 mile away, and walked to the pub. 10 more minutes of me not responding, and 20 messages later, I sent a simple, "Sorry about that. Didn't see your message. I walked down to PDQ pub. Probably 500 yards away, thinking you may be there. Meet me down here? Meet me down here?" Fast forward until right around midnight. I had made this man drive 2 hours one way, walk at least 2 miles, go into all 3 pubs, and curse me every way to Sunday. And he was still 2 hours from home. So I did what any sane person would do, and turned off Facebook notifications and went to bed. Oh, and the wheels and tires sold earlier that day for exactly $1,000. Our last story for today. Cancel on my kid brother's wedding at 3 weeks' notice? Enjoy being at the top of Google rankings for all the wrong reasons. So my kid brother got married 12 years ago this year. Being non-religious, they got married and had their reception at a tithe barn at a country house. Thinking for something different for their wedding present, my dad decided that instead of getting several wedding cars for them, he'd hire one car to take them from the venue to their hotel, and as a surprise hire a helicopter to take the bride and her dad from my parents' place where she was getting ready. Her family is from down south, to the venue. Then, after the ceremony, the newlyweds, her immediate family and ours would each get a 10-minute flight. So me, set out looking for a helicopter hire. We find this one company. They survey my parents' place to make sure they can get in and out. We have a 6-acre field adjoining their garden, our driveway, and do the same at the venue. confirm all is okay, and my dad signs the contract and pays the 50% deposit. 3 weeks before the wedding, they ring back and decide that they can't actually get the helicopter into either the venue or our field, and would be canceling the hire and would be refunding the deposit when they do their next invoice pay run at the end of the month. Cue my old man losing his shoot and by the end of the day getting his money back. What followed was a mad scramble to find another helicopter firm, which in rural Lancashire aren't exactly to be found on every street corner. After a fraught couple of days, we find another firm who are more than happy with getting in and out at both places, are cheaper and more relaxed than the initial firm. When we told them why we were booking it last minute, they told us that we weren't the first that they'd heard of being let down by that firm. Here's where the petty and honestly unintentional revenge comes in. Back then I was a frequent contributor to a car forum I'll call Mark's Car Nerd Forum, which is how my wife referred to it. Not a massive one, at most I think we had about 70 members, but it was ours. One guy sorted out, set up, and we each bunged him $5 a year to admin it. There were half a dozen sub-forums where we chat about motor shows, new car launches, Formula 1, etc., and one invite-only VIP area. Anyway, out of frustration, I posted on the open pages about how pissed off and stressed we had been over the whole thing with a post title of Beelzebub's Healy Tours are a bunch of absolute C-word. Nothing I wrote was untrue. I just laid out the facts of what they did, and the stress it put us through a couple of weeks before the wedding. Of course the guys all chimed in support about how shooty we'd been treated, until someone pointed out that we, as a forum, had paid for Google ranking boost, and that if someone searched for a particular thing, say a Lamborghini Gallardo, then our forum would be on Google page 1 because one of us had posted about it. So everyone changed their post to start with a version of, "What's that? Beelzebub's Healy Tours are a bunch of absolute C-word." Within a day, if you searched Beelzebub's Healy Tours on Google, one of the top results on page 1 was a link titled, Beelzebub's Healy Tours are a bunch of absolute C-word. Eventually, one of the directors of said firm emailed the forum admin demanding the post was removed, as it was damaging his firm's reputation. Dave the admin told him that unless he could provide irrefutable proof that my version of events was in any way incorrect, then the post would be staying up. This was followed by various threats of legal action, to which Dave responded by locking the post with the message, Beelzebub's Healy Tours have threatened to sue Mark's Car Nerd Forum to remove this post. We have repeatedly asked them provide evidence that this version of events is in any way untrue, which they have failed to do so. Until such time that they do, this post will remain up as a true account of how our member was treated by them. Edit. 1. Rich people problems. I know it seems that way, but the only reason we have properties large enough to have a 6-acre field is because 3 families' households, parents, me and wife, brother, pitched together to buy the plot and old barns back in 2002. As for the cost of the helicopter hire, it cost my dad less to hire the helicopter and an executive taxi, around £1,100 in total, to take our kid and his wife to their hotel than it did for him to pay for the 2 classic Daimler limousines for my wedding 11 years before. 2. Calling my brother my little brother or our kid. He's only 2 years younger than me, but he's 6'2" to my, relatively, short arse 5'9½". Hey, that extra half inch is important. He's also nowhere near as broad or strong as me. So referring to him as my little brother is a reminder that he's the younger and smaller. Also, it's very common where I come from to call your sibling our kid. Heck, my dad was calling his younger brother our kid when he'd come visit him in the weeks leading up to his passing at 74. 3. OMG. They gave you 3 weeks notice? That's plenty of time. Anyone saying that has never planned a wedding or larger event? 3 weeks before a wedding is no time at all, especially for services which are booked months in advance. I booked my wedding cars a year before my date. We booked the helicopter 6 months before the date. Had it been cars we booked, we probably would have been shoot out of luck to get replacements in that time frame at peak wedding season. As it was, we got lucky as the replacement firm had not long added another bird to their fleet, and they had space available. Plus, it's still relatively rare to book a helicopter for a wedding. Back then, it was really rare. People have said they must have had a reason to cancel. They did. The reason is they were C-word. The reason given did not add up. The second firm had the same risk assessments carried out and approved and flight plans for the same flights using the same model of aircraft, filed in a couple of days. There were no safety problems at the venue. They hold an annual hot air balloon rally, and if you've got space to launch a bunch of those contraptions, you've got room to launch a squadron of helicopters and none at our place. According to CAA, that's the UK equivalent of the FA, our field is big enough to take 40 helicopters. Plus the surrounding area is clear for at least half a mile in cold directions, except for directly towards our house's barns. 4. You can't boost Google results. Apparently not. But if you run your own business or website, you'll get at least one email or call or mail shot a week from firms claiming to be able to do just that with things like search engine optimization. If you don't know better, you may well be taken in by it. We, as the forum contributors, must have been, as we paid a couple of £100 out the subs to try and get more members as we started it, with just a couple of dozen of us. Also, I've been told that Google wouldn't update to show our shoot posting about them as quick as within a couple of days. What can I say? It was 12 years ago, so that timeline might be a bit fuzzy. 5. You made this up. It didn't happen. What can I say other than it did? If I was going to make this up, it would have been rather more dramatic, with last-minute saves like only confirming the helicopter that morning, and more severe consequences like the firm going bust, etc. 6. You deliberately tried to destroy that firm. I didn't. I had a rant to a bunch of mates, and it just rolled from there. They are still trading today. 7. Nothing shows up when search Google. Do you really think there's a helicopter hire firm called Beelzebub's Heli Tours? And those are all the stories we have for today. See you tomorrow.